What's going on, guys? This is Miasin. So a lot of people have actually asked me since the ban list, when am I gonna make an updated Salamangreat combo video and deck profile, as well as other decks, because I didn't really cover much after the ban list because we were way too focused on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and live streaming on Twitch, and also I personally have to worry about midterm exams in university, so I'm actually just getting overwhelmed right now. But as soon as I'm gonna have a little bit more time, I'm going to get back to YouTube a little more serious, because right now I'm not really uploading as much as I would like to. So this is going to be a combo video for Salamangreat, of course, as you can already tell. I'm going to be featuring 3 combos, and tomorrow we'll have the deck profile. So before I get into any of these combos, make sure you like and subscribe, and also check me out on Twitch and Instagram. And with that being said, let's jump right into combo number 1. So assuming that you have a hand like this, so Salamangreat, Spinny, and Jaguar, look at what you can do. This is actually 2-card OTK going second, obviously, and you don't need to play Transcode Talker for it. So there is a way to kind of have more other cards in your extra deck, and not playing Transcode Talker is probably, I guess, one of the ways you can do that. So whatever, you're going to be going normal Jaguar, make the Veiling, Surge the Sanctuary, activate it, and then reeling for a second Veilings using the first Veilings, and you're going to be using the graveyard effect of Jaguar, so return back the Veilings, revive back itself, and now you have your 2 monsters, so you can make the Splash Mage, revive back the Jaguar, and use the graveyard effect of your Spinny. And now that you have 2 level 2 or higher Cybers monsters, you can make the Update Jammer, and now you can make Access Code Talker. It gains an additional attack thanks to Update Jammer, and it also gains 2000 attack because it was used, it was link summoned using a link 2 monster. So now you have a 4300 beat stick that can pop 3 cards your opponent controls without targeting, and your opponent cannot respond because you have 3 link monsters with different attributes, so fire, wind, and water. And you're going to be able to OTK for a 600 damage. So just like that, using only 2 cards, and without even requiring Transcode Talker in your extra deck, you're already able to kill your opponent. So not too bad. Now let's get into combo number 2, which gets a little spicier. Now this is still kind of bread and butter Salamangreat, but people might actually do it incorrectly. Sometimes you can actually see people drawing like these kind of hands and just not really know what they should do, so they might mess it up. So even if your opponent is playing a deck like Eldritch with a lot of really powerful trap cards going second, and you have, let's say, this kind of hand, you're actually in a really good business. And by the way, even going second against these kind of trap cards, you still have a very good inherent win condition, which would be the graveyard effect of Salamangreat Foxy. So it can revive back itself from the graveyard and then destroy a continuous card on the field. So skill drain, they're going to be 1, etc. might not be always the best against Salamangreat, especially if you're on simplified game state. And Torrential Tribute is also not the best because Veilings can protect your your Salamangreat monsters in bulk, and your Salamangreat cards in general. So even if your opponent had like Twin Twister on your Will and Sanctuary rather, you can protect these cards as well. So Veilings, the graveyard effect, is absolutely broken, debatably even better than the on-field effect. Anyways, the Silent Mining is going to be pitching the Jaguar to Surge the Gazelle, which you would be revealing in order to be special summoning itself and send the Rage. And now you can go normal summon Spinny, make the Veilings, and then Surge the Sanctuary, and revive back the Spinny from the grave because we are trying to make the Mirage Stalio. And what are we going to be special summoning with this? Well, since we already have the Jaguar in the graveyard, the best card to be summoning right now would be the Falco. It's a level 4 monster, so not only can we recycle back our trap cards and our spell cards with the effect of Falco, but we can also make a rank 4 monster. So now we're going to be making Sunlight Wolf, unfortunately having to use the Mirage Stalio, so we are losing a little bit of a follow-up for next turn, but you're recycling back so many cards that actually it doesn't really matter. It was probably redundant anyways. So the Jaguar will be special summoning itself by returning back the Mirage Stalio, and then the Sunlight Wolf is going to be recycling back the Gazelle, and you will be relinking the Sunlight Wolf in order to use its other effect to recycle back the Rage from your graveyard to your hand, and you make the Dweller pass turn there. Now on your opponent's turn, you don't actually really want to be using the Dweller on standby. That only really makes you play around like Kaijus and stuff like that, which honestly nobody really plays in. I guess Dark Ruler, but come on. In the main deck, nobody plays that. In post game 1, nobody's citing Dark Ruler against this deck, or like Forbidden Drop. The interruptions in Salamangreat are like trap cards, not really monsters. Anyways, assuming that your opponent goes like set 4 pass, look at the optimal way to go about it. So you're going to be going Salamangreat Roar, and you're going to be chaining the Abyss Dweller. So maybe these cards could be Waking the Dragon, or Conquistador, Hakuero, Scarlet, etc. You don't really want them to have their graveyard effects on live, so you're going to be chaining the Dweller and detaching the Falco, because on resolution, this is going to matter a lot. So we're going to be destroying multiple cards your opponent controls, actually 2 in this situation. So bye-bye Torrential Strike. Our opponent still has There Can Only Be One and Skill Drain, but that's completely fine. And then on resolution, like I said, Chainlink 1 Gazelle, Chainlink 2 Falco, reset back the Rage, and then summon back the Gazelle here, and also go double effect. So Gazelle, send the Roar, and Sunlight Wolf recycle back a Fire from Grave. So look at how we are generating advantage and advancing our game state even during our opponent's turn. This is ridiculous. Like, the Gazelle is so insane that even though it's once per turn, it almost looks like it's twice per turn because you really get it on each turn. So you're going to be drawing for turn whatever, pop 2 cards, our opponent chains Tikaboo. We really don't care. Skill Drain, I really couldn't care less. Actually does nothing. I'm still gonna pop multiple cards, and now I can actually OTK even if our opponent drew Nibiru for turn. So count the amount of summons. Up until now, it was 0 on our own turn, but it's going to be exactly 4 by the time we OTK. So the first one is Jaguar. And then, of course, we're also getting back the Gazelle. Normal summon the Spinny, that was summon number 2. Update Jammer, summon number 3. And then summon number 4, Access Code Talker. It gains an additional attack and gains 2000 attack and can destroy multiple cards because, again, we have Wind and Fire. I don't think we have anything else, so this is going to be double pop and 8600 damage plus 17. And we still have the Rage, Gazelle, Ash. And of course, this is assuming that you want to go for game. If you don't want to go for game, well, all we had to do was not use the effect of Abyss Dweller on our own turn, and also recycle back the Roar. So we have Roar Rage with Gazelle and everything, potentially make a Baguska on top of that, but then it would be redundant with Dweller already there. So yeah, this is already way more than enough against 99% of the decks out there. Very, very powerful turn 1. So that's it for combo number 2. Let's get into the third and final combo now. Alright, so with the most recent Forbidden and Limited list, we actually got Salamangreat Circle back to 2. And this card is quite unique because it is a search card that is a quick play spell card. So in other words, you have the freedom of being able to use it on your draw phase if you really want to. Now you might be thinking, what is the benefit of doing that when you can just wait and use it in your main phase after you perform other actions? Well, if you use it on your draw phase, your opponent cannot use Droll and Logbird against you because the card specifically states outside of your opponent's draw phase. Well, outside of the draw phase just in general. So if you use the circle on your draw phase, look at this. We're going to be searching the Gazelle and our opponent cannot Droll us yet. So we can actually search multiple times and in one single chain link, and therefore the Droll and Logbird will never really hurt us. So we go normal Buffalo, and then make the Veilings, Chainlink 1 Buffalo, and then Chainlink 2 Veilings. This is always the correct way to do it. And again, our opponent could not Droll us before we could do that, so this is always guaranteed. You're always going to be searching a card and then drawing 2 cards if you have Buffalo. And then we're going to get all of our cards to the hand, so many resources, freaking 6 cards in the hand, any monster field, and our opponent can finally use Droll and Logbird after 10 years, but by this time, it really doesn't matter because we're done doing all our searches. So even though you have multiple cards that technically can search with Circle and stuff like that, like Buffalo, it really doesn't matter again, like I said. So Imperm on Gazelle, nice deck. I couldn't care less. I can still combo. Yeah, by the way, same column doesn't matter because it was used as a hand trap. So yeah, Whale revive back, and then oh, by the way, yeah, no, that was rather activate Whale and then use the graveyard effect of Foxy, not Whale to revive back the Foxy. And we discarded the Falco, which allows us to recycle back the Circle. And now we're going to be using Mirage Talus. We didn't use the effect of Whale yet. Summon the Jaguar and then make the Sunlight Wolf. And we're going to be relinking the Sunlight Wolf so you can use the graveyard effect of Jaguar. Recycle back the Sunlight Wolf to the extra deck and then return back a Fire from our graveyard to our hand. And then Whale revive back the Falco. And either make Dweller or Baguska, doesn't really matter, but it really depends on the deck that you are playing. And yeah, we're going to be setting our Roar or whatever else we drew off of Buffalo. And if you really want to be playing around Imperm as much as you possibly can, because in this situation, our opponent top deck the Imperm, you don't shotgun the Dweller. You wait until your opponent puts at least 1 card on the field, and then you can use the Dweller, because otherwise, you're going to be forced to, like, waste your Roar on the Imperm, which is just so weak, because then you can't really Imperm anything else. So now we're going to be using the effect of Dweller here, and then we're going to be triggering the Gazelle from hand because we detached the Jaguar. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, our opponent goes Aquamancer from hand. Can't really get it into the graveyard to use its effect in the grave there. So the Torn Scales is actually just not doing anything now. It's basically a generic 600 attack monster. So we are negating that from the hand because this card can get ashed and belled, since it either searches from the deck to the hand or from the graveyard to the hand, so remember that. Anyways, so now our opponent makes the Break Sword. Again, doesn't really matter, because if our opponent makes a Zeus, regardless of the amount of materials, we're going to be able to negate it completely with the Roar, and there is nothing our opponent can do. He can't use the effect again. And by the way, if you think that your Link monster is going to get relinked next turn, and your opponent tries to attack over another monster, I guess you can use the effect of Sanctuary. So in this situation, I'm supposed to have less than 8,000 life points, but I paid 1,000 to gain 18 and make the Sunlight Wolf permanently 0, so that I have 85, and if time gets called and my opponent is playing for like 10 years in main phase 2, at least I'm not gonna die, because he only has one monster, so I might as well just use the weird effect that nobody even cares about that Sanctuary has. Anyways, Mig Downward, Mig Zeus, nice deck, because I'm just gonna roar you. And at this point, it's pretty much over. I mean, I have way too many resources, and there's nothing you can do when Salamangreat gets the ball going. I'm just gonna OTK you next turn, and this game is over. So yeah, Salamangreat is an extremely dangerous deck. It is in the top 10 best decks of the upcoming format, so pretty much all I had to say. So again, deck profile coming up tomorrow. I really hope you guys were able to learn and enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Peace.